think I was on mute, but in any case, good evening, everyone. How are you? This is the joy of technology. I am so excited tonight. I appreciate you all for coming in right now. Welcome to the Chime In and Chat with TK under Youth Ministry 365. I am excited tonight. You want to be here. You want to like, share, and love all of what we're getting ready to bring because I have something in store for you. Are you ready for a cup of tea? Are you ready for some tea? I have some for you tonight. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show. As you are coming in, I want to welcome each and every one of you to Youth Ministry 365 Academy. This is the platform by which I try my best to infuse youth leaders, youth directors, pastors, and parents with all of the information that you need to have young people who are growing up successfully. Tonight, I am going to be joined by just some extraordinary personalities, and I want you to welcome to the stage tonight. I want you to give a heartfelt welcome to my guests, none other than Monica and Darian Lewis. Woo! I am so happy that you all are here. Thank you for joining us. How are you all tonight?
We are great. I mean, literally ran in because we've been busy all day. But look, we know how to just come on and pick back up, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes. And as you all are coming in, please share this and tell us also where you're coming from because they're going to want to connect to you as well. This is a platform that I do not mind pushing persons who are doing things that are in the community that's really helping our youth and young adults. And tonight we're going to talk about some things. These are the authors of Say Yes to Manners and also the owners and directors and founders of Monica Lewis's School of Etiquette. And tonight I'm just going to allow them to just have their way and talk to us. If you have a teacup, I want you to go grab your teacup. If you have a teacup, I certainly want you to go, yes! I want you to go grab your, yes. Go grab your teacup because we're going to also dive into another business venture that they have. And I want to share their story simply because we look at the success of so many and we feel that it happened overnight. We look at them and we say, hey, I want to do what they're doing. I want to look like they look. I want the success that they have. And what we fail to realize so many times, youth and young adults, is that greatness comes over time, not overnight. And right. I want to also bring into the conversation that these were corporate executives prior to them launching a company now that stands self-sufficient. So I want them to kind of talk about their journey, and I want you to introduce yourselves. I'm so happy, my brother and my sister, you all are here. And listen, I'm not a Peter supporter. I'm not going to support you. Listen, I'm not a Peter supporter. Last name, a maiden name is Peterson, but I'm not a Peter supporter, meaning that I don't just support you in the good times. I support even publicly. I support when it's good, when it's not so great, when you're grassroots. I'm trying my best to support. So I want to uplift you all this evening, give you an opportunity to really share your story and also to just give some word of encouragement to youth, young adults, parents, and teachers, those that have joined this community tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I am Monica Lewis. I am the owner of the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette.
I'm Darian Lewis. I'm the co-owner of the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette. She's the Monica, I'm the Lewis, and we are a partnership.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So we've been in business going on 14 years. With our etiquette school. And just to give you a little history, TK spoke about it, but started in corporate America, we both did. And we worked for a large financial institution, and I worked there for 17 years. Yes, I know I look good, but 17 years. 17 years. At first, I started the first 3 years as a contract employee. And then after the third year, I became full-time. Not by choice, because I was waiting patiently while I had other people in my ears like, you should leave because they still haven't hired you. But I knew, look, I'm going to do my work. I'm going to do what I have to do. And eventually they hired me. And actually, we started off with 30 people in that department. By the time they did background check, I think I was one of the 5 that made it. So I worked there in auditing department, stocks and securities, and stayed on that journey for 17 years. Then probably year 15 of that 17th year, I started seeking out like this something I should be doing differently. And the reason why that prompted is because I had a boss that everyone was like, you know, she's bad. And I'm like, no, she's good. I have never experienced anything. I'm gonna give her a chance. You know, I worked for her prior for 3 years and, you know, I'm just gonna go on with it. Okay, so now this is year 16. I got a chance to see her for what was being said and all of that good stuff. So I'm like, Lord, I want out. You know, so it's time for me to move out. It's time for me to find another job. Make the long story short, I was applying for jobs, t-shirt companies. It didn't even matter. I just wanted out. And they were like, ma'am, you overqualified to make t-shirts, you know, with a company. So I said, okay, you know, let me just stay until I hear something back. And God allowed me to stay in that position for a whole year to go through what I went through, but he didn't want me to leave because he wanted me to witness the change. And what happened with the change was that I ended up reporting what my boss at the time ended up reporting to someone new. That person she started reporting to was a person I worked with in the past that I had a great relationship with. So God didn't want me to leave without me seeing I got there, just stay put. And so after that new boss came along, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm not looking for a job anymore. I'm good. You know, I don't need nothing else. And then all of a sudden on a Sunday morning, I go to church and my bishop at the time had mentioned, she said, God is going to give you something what you've been looking for. And I'm like, okay, I'm not looking for anything. I'm good. Because I wasn't no longer looking for a job, you know, so I didn't know really what that was. That Sunday night, my husband and I, we had twins at the time. We put the twins to bed. Do. We still have them. Pray for us. They 15. Okay, so sometimes I think I had. So anyway, we put them to bed, and then I turned on Atlanta Housewives. We're eating Papa John's pizza. He's sitting at the table, eating Papa John's and working from the laptop, right? All of a sudden, I hear Charm School. So loud, so clear, until I asked my husband, I said, hey, did you hear that? God said Charm School. And he said, no, they need Charm School on Atlanta Housewives, but you doing Charm School? I say, no, I know what I heard. And ever since then, within 3 months, I became a certified etiquette consultant, still worked my job, and did my very first class right before back to school. I did a back to school etiquette camp and did that. Camp was sold out. And the following year, God said, you won't be returning back to your company, to the job you worked for, January 21st. January 21st of that year, the following year, I resigned and have not turned back since. Did I miss something?
You good?
Have not turned back. And so now where we at now, 15 years later, almost 15 years later, our program is at over 400 schools. We have now incorporated corporate etiquette, business etiquette. That is another venture of its own. We have 5 employees. God has been good to us. So when God tells you something, of course, people doubt it. You know, you're going to leave your corporate job to teach etiquette. People really pay for that. And I'm like, I'm leaving because God said leave. So people may not understand why you making the move, but as long as you have a relationship with God and you know that's what he said, you're going to come out A-okay. And he's going to show you in front of the people that doubted you that I called you to do this.
Wow. Exactly. That's the exact response.
Yeah.
He will show you why he called you to do something. And the reason why I think that is so prevalent and so precious in this conversation is because we so often doubt the ability that we have been given. We also doubt the word that we heard. And you heard it, you know, and how you're saying that. Listen, I heard that word, even though your husband didn't quite hear it for how you heard and saw it happening. You know, you knew in your heart that this is what you needed to do. And so now that you have stepped out on this venture of faith and you have now expanded, yes, so now we know people do actually pay for etiquette because that is how you make a living. We know that they do pay for it. And I'm just excited tonight to understand that this has not only started with one-on-one coaching, one-on-one, and you're just there and you're kind of doing it as a hobby here. I want you to expand on the conversation, and I want to bring Darian into this next piece. I want to ask you how do you handle the foundation of hearing and moving out in spaces that you feel are just new territory? You know, you're getting ready to change. You have a family. Okay, let's be clear. You have children, you have a wife, you have a home. It's sometimes difficult to hear those types of faith moves and then actually take those moves and move forward. Tell us from a male perspective how you support. How did you support that?
It's been a journey. It has been a journey. Let me tell you what I experienced as she was going through, hearing from thus saith the Lord through all this. You know, we were married. We had our plan in place. You know, I'm a planner. I'm the person that says, okay, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What's your plan for tomorrow? You know, that's me. So when she came to me and said, I'm leaving my job, I said, you're leaving what job? You know, and she said, well, I'm going to step out and I'm going to start teaching etiquette. And I said, when and to who? And I had so many questions that the first 2-3 years, we were really, really distant. We were on polar opposites of the spectrum, to be quite honest, because it didn't fit our plan. And I was holding on to our plan. You know, we had a nice home. We had just bought, I think we had bought a BMW at that point. You know, we were doing it. We had our children. We had that perfect American family. You know, we had the 2 kids, the BMW, the 2 good jobs. And now you want to change all of that. And for me, it was like we were having another baby. But instead of going through that pregnancy, it was more like, we're having a baby. It's a boy. His name's going to be Jeff. You know, all in one conversation. So it was like too much, too fast, too soon. So it took me a minute to catch on. So gradually for me, I went from being, you know, very skeptical, but supportive in my own way. You know, as a husband, I knew that my role was to protect her. And that's really where I was communicating from, because I did not want her to step out into the wrong area. You know, because we had actually done other business things, you know, here and there. And so I was like, this can't be one of those fly by night kind of things. And just hearing her talk, I saw the passion. I saw the drive. And so my goal at that point was to make sure we were prepared for this shift. So that meant, you know, me completely retooling our plan. You know, how much is it going to take for us to launch this business? So I became like Mr. Save-A-Lot. You know, every penny I had to account for, everything, because I knew that we were about to make this shift. And if we did it too fast, it would be devastating, not just for her, but for our family. Because at that point, our lifestyle was built on 2 incomes. And then for me, it was an opportunity for me to grow spiritually, mentally, and into the full role of a husband, that person who covers you even in the uncharted areas. Even when you can't quite see exactly where you're going, you still have to be there to cover, still have to be there to protect. That first class was the worst class for me because we weren't talking. We hadn't spoken for probably a week, maybe 2, like nothing. When and for us, we're best friends. We are. I mean, we talk even when we're not supposed to talk. We talk, okay? That's what we do. We the couple that'll call it, what you doing? Nothing. Okay, then I'll call you right back. And then she'll call me back. What you doing? The same thing you were doing when you got me the first time. And that's just our relationship. So for us to go for a week without talking was what was really a test. And that first, there's a picture out there somewhere. Somebody has it. And you can see, you can drive an 18-wheeler between the two of us. I came in late purposely. I didn't want to be there because I didn't understand it. And I just didn't want to see her fail. So I was like, I'm going to come in at the very last moment. And I'm going to be there to save the day. I got my credit card ready. Whatever is she done spent, I'm going to just have to come on in, bite the bullet, and I'm going to take care of it. So I came in ready. Like, I'm going to save the day. I walk in. It's a filled room. I walk in. There's all kinds of people. And, you know, I'm so laser focused on I got to save her from falling on her face that I didn't even enjoy the opportunity of celebrating her and her success. And so fast forward to about 2015, I was also working for the same company by this time, and I was working in the marketing department, moving through, had, you know, great success there. And one of the assignments I had was I had secured a sponsorship for a conference here in Houston, and the guest speaker for that conference was Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he had just launched this book called Instinct. So as a sponsor, I got an advanced copy and everything. And I was there to represent the company and, you know, and be their official spokesperson to represent, you know, us in that market. And as I was in the conference doing all my role and everything, I sat down and I began to hear him speak. And he began to talk about going from levels and how it's not the pain of moving from one level to the next, but it's the pain in when you say, God, order my steps. And you think those steps are, you know, sequential in a linear fashion. And those steps can be in a vertical fashion where you're going from here to here. And there's a pain that you go through and going from one level to the next. And God is preparing you to make that change. And it was like the more he talked to me, or the more he talked, it felt like he was talking to me. And there were maybe 1,000, 2,000 people in the room. And by the time it was over, I said, I've got to go home and I've got to have a conversation with my wife. I remember I got home, it was late, woke her up. And my conversation to her, it was October. I said, I'm sorry for every moment that I should have supported you, but didn't. Every time you asked me for my help and I could have helped you and I didn't. And by that time, I was actually working. I was actually helping. I was going, you know, when she needed me, you know, we were good. We had our little rhythm going. I was taking vacation days from work to do classes, all kinds of stuff. Like I killed one uncle like 5 or 6 times. You know, I kept him on life support. You're not going to make it. I just got to go right now. You know, really have to do a class. Yeah, that kind of thing. And so in October, after I told her that, we stayed up all night and we talked and we just talked. And I began to just really pour out where I was. And I said, I'm all in 100%, 10 fingers, 10 toes down. That's October of 2015. By January 2016, I'm at work on the second day of the year. We're back in the office and there's a conference call. And on a conference call, I'm told that my position has been eliminated and I'm laid off. It's a Thursday. So I call my wife as I would normally say, hey, there's a layoff and I think I'm being impacted. And she's saying, wait, I ain't got time for that. I need you to get some printer paper because we just got a call from New York and they want to produce our book. And I need to make sure I have enough paper to print this proposal so I can sit there. I said, hey, did you hear what I said? I just got laid off. And she said, okay, that's fine. Bring the paper home when you come.
I needed some printer paper.
So I pack up all my things out of the office. I just leave, you know, not kind of like in a daze, because I knew that morning that I was coming home. I knew within my heart that was going to be the last day. I just knew it. But anyway, I leave out, didn't even think about severance, didn't know anything about that. I left with the printer paper, came home to find out.
You better had that printer paper.
I knew I needed that printer paper. That was the only thing that was on my mind. It's like I'm just on autopilot. I walk out and I come home to a proposal. And we have to submit this proposal and we have to be on the flight the next morning. That's Thursday. Friday, we're in New York. Mm-hmm. I dropped my box from my office at our company, you know, for all those years. Everything was crammed into a box. That box sat in my office untouched until recently, like we're talking about last year for Corona, when I finally tripped over the box and said, you know what, I need to finally get rid of this. It's been sitting for 4.5 years in the same spot, never touched it, never looked back, never wondered what if, what could have, what happened. None of that. Because that moment for us, it was just like what we needed. It was the slingshot. We have been preparing. We have been going through we did the work as a business partnership, but more importantly, as a husband and wife team. We did the work. We trust each other. We know each other. We can speak to each other in ways that lift each other and also critique each other without tearing each other down. And so my ultimate advice for men who are going through this change with your wife as she's stepping out and launching out is to remain focused and remain confident that this does not impact your relationship. Be confident in who you marry, because if you married right, if you married for the correct reasons, she is always going to come back and take care of home. She's always going to come back and check in on you, but your relationship will have to evolve and change. And you've got to be ready to go with those ebbs and flows of relationship, because you're not the same. And so why should you think she's going to remain the same? And then vice versa. I'm not the same as I was back then. And if she's not willing to embrace who I am now, then the whole thing is going to be out of whack.
Wow, that is amazing. I just absolutely love, first of all, let me lift the fact that you said you tripped over a box that you left 4 years ago because you dropped it off and never looked back. And you lived in that present moment. And that is what we so often miss, is being present in the moment and understanding that whatever that call is and whatever has to push you out of that nest, whatever level of uncomfortability has to be created, you have to be willing to drop the box off and not look back. Another thing that you definitely stated was that, if you marry correctly, and this is for all of the young adults out there who are saying, I want to be married, I'm missing out on life because I don't have a spouse. You said something so critical and so crucial to life. When you marry the right way, when you marry the right one, when you marry in the bounds of who God has created for you, you understand that first and foremost, respect is the mutual thing. That's right. Submission is the direct response to love and support. And when you decided to make the decision to support your wife and understand that what she had inside of her was greater, as she stated to you, listen, I don't even have time to hear that you're being laid off. Just give me my paper so we can print this book and so we can move on. That's how that's when you know you have a relationship that is founded upon trust in one another. I got you, you got me. Right. And so, I am absolutely just, flashing forward now to the Say Yes to Manners book. Yes. I remember when you all came, you started doing a lot of, service for, you guys have put your time and work in. So the success that you're reaping now is no secret because you have given so much of your time. I remember and I recall you coming and servicing young women from all across the United States for a church convention. And you were there, you gave your time, you gave of your resources. And I just remember Monica telling the young girls how to dress and how to look and how to sit and stand and walk. And guess who was right there, taking the pictures and was right there, handing her the material, Darian. And I thought that was just so phenomenal. It was like, it was this team of individuals that were working in collaboration with one another. There was no animosity. And, we all know that things happen behind the scene, but I promise you, everything was so seamless. We would have never known if anything was actually out of order or discombobulated because you all work so seamless together. But that's what happens when you turn all of this over to God. So I want to talk just a little bit about the Say Yes to Manners. Okay. And then I want you all, as we're talking about Say Yes to Manners, I want to then segue into some things that you're doing on the news station. You just did a phenomenal Miss USA pageantry, big ordeal. I want you to kind of touch bases on that. And then we're going to learn tonight how to have a cup of tea the right way. So yes, we saw Darian on Instagram. He didn't quite have it. So I said, listen, I know a lady. I said, listen, I think I know a lady I can put you in touch with that can kind of help you get this teacup just right.
You think you can help me out? Because I was struggling.
I think I know somebody, and you might know her too. But I was like, let me get in touch with her just to make sure, because I want to make sure it's okay for me to give, her number. So I said, I know a lady. I'm gonna have her to help you. So now you're here with her tonight. Hopefully you're gonna learn with us how we're supposed to have a proper cup of tea. But go ahead and talk about some of the expanded things that you guys have been able to do. Yes, please. I want to hear about it. I really want to hear about the pageant. I want to hear about the Miss America pageant, but we got to talk about Say Yes to Manners. Monica and I, we're you're the planning guy. Vincent's the planning guy. Right. We just we get ready to run, and y'all need to keep up. Right. So right now, let me back up. Let's go. Let's take it step by step. Let's go. Say Yes to Manners from etiquette. We're going to segue from out of etiquette into what you've been able to do now, because you just answered the call to your passion.
Yes. Right. So Say Yes to Manners is a title of a book that we have. And so what it is the top 15 manners and etiquette rules that we normally see within schools or within children. So it was so funny. That particular book, I believe in January or February that year before I self-published that book, God said, write a book. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this book. December gets here. Have not wrote the book. So this is like 2 days before Christmas. And I told him, I said, oh my goodness, I forgot to write this book. And so he's like, you gonna write a book right now? I said, yeah, I got to get it before the beginning of the year. And he said, this is 2 days before Christmas. I said, it's going to be done. So, so I'm in a bed, wrote it down, everything. And I reached out to this guy. Well, I did a Google search looking for an illustrator and all of that, like literally. And a day before Christmas, I was meeting the illustrator. By January 1st, the book was finished. And I told him I want to launch it for my birthday, which is March, so that I can do a release at the Houston Children's Festival, which is the largest festival in the world. I got to post some of them pictures up. Right. And he was like, are you serious? In 3 months, I said, it's already done. I mean, we're already doing the editing. I was going to be printing and all of that. And so
right. This is her version. Now you see how it doesn't. She's not paying attention to time. I'm the planning guy. So I'm like, do you realize how much money this is going to cost us to do this, because you're waiting till the last minute and you're giving me such a tight deadline, which is the story of my life. So she comes up. God,
don't worry about it. We got it.
And then which means that I'm now stuck with trying to getting us from point A to point B. Remember, I told you about those steps. It's not just about going from here to here. It's the process that it takes. She doesn't see the process. She sees the vision, the end goal.
Right. And so I wrote the book, and you came up with the title, Say Yes to Manners. I don't know how you came with time, but that's what it's been, the whole nine. And so never been an author before, just did it, and was able to get it launched during the Houston Children's Festival. I mean, this is like, you had over about how many people? Like 30,000 people that attended this festival. And so of course, growing up culture, we just, everything is grand. So, I mean, you can see the tent all the way from the sidewalk. So anyway, all the way. Yeah. I had 3 costume changes, did a stage performance. It was amazing.
It was all the way too much.
It was
all the way too much. Looking back now, what we know now versus back then,
I probably do just 1 change, not 3.
Get somewhere and sit down. I look back, like, if we don't get somewhere and sit down, we spent. I mean, it paid off. It paid off, but we spent
a lot of money. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a lot of your money. You're right.
It joint account. So anyway, look, wrote the book. but not knowing this will be an avenue for us to create additional income, because now it allowed us to go into schools to do book tours. That was never on my mind. Even when starting the etiquette business, I thought it was just children, you know, that it done changed from children, teens, adults, business. So all of that, you know, once you step out on faith, and I really believe this, you know, yes, I have the vision, but what God really have is so much bigger than what you can ever imagine, ever imagine. So once we did the book allowed opportunities for us to go into the school, and then, you know, still under the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette. And then that came into opening, doing different books. Right. So Breaking Bad in Business.
Right. It morphed. So from Say Yes to Manners, it's kind of like we're talking about a period of time that, you know, it seemed like doors and opportunities were opening that we never thought of. So like every time we tell the story, it's like, we never thought we could do this. We never thought we could do that. You know, it's just like one thing, but it was gradual. It was day by day. You know, we kept saying yes. We kept saying, okay. We kept saying, oh, sure, you want us to do it? We never done it before, but we kept walking in it. And looking back now, we were building the foundation for the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette to be its own standalone brand that is a full service company that doesn't just, our name says the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette. And I always say, don't let the name fool you. You know, we are a full service company that provides etiquette, civility, and protocol training to children, teens, adults, and professionals. So when we get the opportunity, our initial response is pretty much always yes. Very few opportunities we've actually had to say no to. And there have been a couple that didn't align with our moral beliefs, that we've had to, you know, respectfully decline. But we found out that built a level of respect for us in the industry, whether it's working in television or working in corporate. You know, we stay true to our convictions as individuals. Our business is, you know, it doesn't have an agenda. Our business is universal. However, when you're wanting me or her to participate in something, it does need to still align with our convictions and our beliefs. And we're very upfront about that, you know.
Let me say this. When we started the business, of course, leaving a great company, I did not make not nearly as much within the first year that I made. But I knew this is what I should be doing. And so I ended up getting a dress made with the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette logo. That day I called in, you know, sent my resignation. And it was so funny when I submitted my resignation, it only was 2 lines from working with a company 17 years, you know. But once I hit enter, I just felt like, oh my God, this is it. Let me tell you, the next day, I went to Starbucks. Every day I was going to Starbucks and saying, I'm going to give out at least 10 business cards in my uniform. And of course, I say my uniform, but the dress with the logo on it, it created conversation. And so I made it a goal. Every day I'm going to give out 10 business cards. I'm going to already have what to say, you know, so people say, oh my God, what do you do? Because the dress itself was a conversation starter. And then what I do is I teach people how to behave. What? Say that again? Oh, I teach manners and etiquette, and you created that whole dialogue. And our business grew one person, one referral at a time. And so now the book has came along. Now we in the schools doing book tours, and I'm talking about full-blown production with singing along the whole 9. And then once that happens, then you start going into... I
start doing business development and business training. And I launched a series called Breaking Bad in Business. And Breaking Bad stands for your brutal, abrasive, and disgruntled behaviors that we all see in the workplace. We all experience. You can at church too. As a matter of fact, Breaking Bad actually launched as because I was in an environment where there was the business world and the church world that had come together, and it was like a horrible combination. And I saw that, you know, our church clique and our church way of doing things didn't mesh with the secular way of doing business. We were very much caught in our cliques. We were very isolated. We were very aloof, versus the corporate world was very open and wanting to know more about you. But because you didn't have the look or because you didn't have the vernacular, they shut them down. And I'm like, no, but this is the person that can fund your project. You want to build a youth center, and this person has millions of dollars to give. But because of your face, because of your attitude, because of the way you carried yourself, you've just now blown your chances to get what is yours. And so I launched this platform called Breaking Bad in Business, thinking that I was just going to work with a couple of people who were about to get fired, and it morphed into me going into corporations and companies across the country, talking to them about the very things that everybody is afraid to talk about. Your attitude. You're great at your job, but your attitude is horrible. You're great at your job, but your facial expressions are all wrong. And, you know, for
that
me,
is such a good message for young people, young adults in the workplace, because we often wonder why customer service is such a lost art in this generation. And it is exactly what you're saying. Continue.
Yeah. And so for me, it became an opportunity for me to speak to the C-suite about what's really happening in their brand and in their business. Because as a business owner, I'm aware that even though I run this company and I'm very involved in this company, I'm not involved in present for every interaction that one of my staff members may have with a client. And sometimes things don't go right, you know, and so I have to train those employees or those staff members on what to do if things don't go right, and how to turn those complaints into profits, and how to build that relationship, and how to establish a relationship that can withstand when things don't go exactly as you planned them to go. And for me, that was the opportunity for me to establish more of my own foothold, and I can bring in all of my experience that I had, amassed over the years of going to school and working in all these corporations and being exposed to all of these various levels. And, I really thank God for my parents and, and my church family, because they exposed me to so many diverse situations that even to this day, it's kind of funny. I can move from the pulpit to the boardroom, to the classroom, to the field. And it's nothing for me, because I learned it in church. You have to be all things to all people at all times. You learn all that good stuff there, but how do you monetize that? Well, it's missing. It's missing because people are struggling to connect the dots. On Sunday, you are, chief adjutant, but on Monday, you have to turn into Mr. or Mrs. Professional. Got to turn them off. You got to switch gears. And so I thought I was just going to be working with church people. I'm working with all kind of people. My day can go from working with, a multimillionaire or a emerging business owner, a beauty pageant contestant, a student. It doesn't matter. I work with all types of people because the behavior patterns are the same in many cases. There are things that are happening subconsciously that we're not paying attention to that are sabotaging us professionally and even personally. And so that's been a really fun and interesting way for us to expand our business model, because we've been expanding in multiple ways for a while. And one of the things we started to do was tea etiquette, and that morphed into the Lewis Tea and Co.
Right.
Yes, and I mean one thing I want to just briefly back up before we get into the Lewis Tea and Co. I want to definitely bring this to the forefront. Is that, in order for you to change or just even be able to accept that you need what you have to offer is self-awareness. So you have to be self-aware that your attitude is not aligned with where you can go, or you're imbalanced in a sense, because like you said, you have great skill set, but it's your attitude that's keeping you from moving forward. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the forefront of the conversation. And now, as you continue to teach, you've been able to go into the news station. I see you are on the news. You've taken over Houston. You've now gone from 3 wardrobe changes to being taken over these people's news station.
Yes.
And I think it's absolutely phenomenal. So I want, being on the news and then being able to work with the pageant, the United States of America pageantry.
Miss USA. Miss USA.
And just talk about how the news thing, this is when it really gets good. Okay. So Our very first segment was about what, 4 years ago? How many years?
Megan was just born. So yeah, right, 4.
Okay,
yeah,
about 4 years ago. And I was contracted with this school district and been contracted with the school district for a while, like for years. This particular day, this is going into Christmas break. I don't know, that's us feeding back. Okay. Going into the Christmas break, you have 2 weeks in schools. I mean, 2 weeks you're out of school. So the Friday of me being off for the next 2 weeks, I get an email from that school district saying we no longer have it in the budget to bring you back next year. And I'm like, okay, well, our whole income has been based on this contract for years. So I didn't do any heavy marketing. I didn't do any of that because we were set. He was working and then I had the business and we were doing well. Okay. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, how I'm going to tell him we don't have that contract no more. Okay. So that same night, it was a Friday evening that I learned about it by 7:30 that night. I kid you not. 8 o'clock, about 30 minutes later, we're at home and I get a call from Fox News. First time going to be on TV asking, could we come in and do a holiday etiquette segment? So she's talking to Darian and Darian put the call on hold. And he asked me, they want you to come in tomorrow. I said, oh, no. I'm not coming in tomorrow because I need to get my hair done, my makeup done, all that kind of stuff. So
it's extra.
I said, let's do Sunday. Let's see if they can do Sunday. They said, yes, we could do Sunday. Sunday is the largest audience. So they said, yeah, we could do Sunday. But I was still upset or disturbed about, okay, this is fine, but we don't have this contract. And I heard God say so clear, I'm closing this door and you can't even see that I'm making a bigger door. Okay. And so went to do the segment, did the segment. Of course, I was nervous the first time on TV. Not no rink-a-dink segment, not like I'm talking about Fox News, Fox 26 local, but it incorporated the Fox News. And it was a 7:30 segment that morning. Mind you, we're still going to church after we leave this segment. So we never stop with our routine. We never like, okay, after we do this segment, we're going to church. That was never an option. And so did the segment. And so next thing you know, about 10 o'clock we in service, we get buzz from the producer. This was like the most viewed segment. This was like the most repeat, people going on, clicking on the segment. Can you come back next week? And then that turned into us coming in once a month and twice a month. Now, mind you, coming back, going in January, still no contract, no money. But TV, publicity, and trying God.
Right.
Never pitched. They found us. And for 4 months, with us not really having that income that we were so used to, like watching out the window until I heard a truck outside and I thought it was the repo man. You talk
about when he came. Look, the repo man actually came for the car, knocked on the door and said, I'm looking for, and said he had the wrong address. He showed up. And the moment he showed up, I knew. I was like, they're coming to get it. Come on, get it. I just knew. I'm ready. He shows up. He has the wrong address. I said, no, this is not the person that you're looking for or whatever. So he says, oh, okay, I'm at the wrong address. Here's what happens. I close the door and I'm like, they were coming to pick up the car. The doorbell rings again. I think it's the repo man. It's someone at the door with a check for the exact amount that we needed to take care of our truck, our mortgage, our lights, and tuition for the kids' schools. They wanted to book a class. They were like, we've been trying to find you to book this class. We want to pay for it right now. Kid you not.
And the thing is, normally I park my car in the garage.
The car was in the driveway.
It was in the driveway. So I wasn't even trying to hide it. I mean, it was just.
Car was in the driveway. I couldn't get to the bank fast enough.
But let me tell you, before leading up to that, we knew this was coming, but we wouldn't get any hits. We wasn't getting any hits. And I remember going to my bedroom closet, and I heard God says, I got you. And I said, well, hurry up and do it. Do something. And I remember flicking the light off in the closet, the light switch, flicking it. I said, okay, I trust you. Go on and do what you're going to do. That's when the phone call came in. I mean, the door of the money.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. I mean, and it's so amazing. This is why you all can live the way you live, because you're free and you're transparent. Again, we can look all day on the outward appearance, and we can look at Facebook posts, and we can look at followers, and we can look at viewers, and we can look at all of these different things that that now says that this is what makes you up. But what we have to understand is that it is through the trenches, the trials, the transparent testimonies of what we have been through, that we not only understand that we're helping somebody else, but we're freeing ourselves. We free ourselves through the idea that we have been so able to connect to the promise of God, understanding that if he told you to do it, that he was going to provide. And the rejection of that girl, listen, I'm grateful that they turned you away, because had you not been able to let go of that, what would have happened is you probably would have said to Fox News, I'm sorry, I just don't have the time. Or, you start making these other excuses, trying to hold on to something, when exactly that rejection is repositioning. Rejection is replanting. Rejection becomes now repotting. And that's what we have to understand, is that sometimes we have to celebrate the rejection. So I celebrate in rejection. At one point in life, I didn't understand how to do that, because, you think that, oh, everybody likes you. Everybody thinks that you're a great person. And, I'm not mean, and I want to be liked, and I want to be loved. But there are such things in life as rejection. It's part of the package. So I love the story of how you talk about being rejected. I love the fact that you thought something was getting ready to be repossessed when actually it was being repositioned. I absolutely love that. So now that you've been on Fox News,
it has many networks. Okay, so not only local, now we were New York. We've done segments for New York, Austin, LA. And so these are like
we've been in all the major markets. We've been in all the major markets. And it's been a really God ordained journey for us, because I'll put this out there. Many people think that, you have to pay for the type of platform that you want. You don't. You have to be persistent. And when the opportunity comes, you have to be ready. And most importantly, you have to be professional. One of the biggest things that I think the secret to our success has been that when they do call us, we're always professional. We're always ready. And they're never waiting on us. They don't wait on us to give them feedback. Most of the times now I'm producing the segment, so they'll give me the idea, and I'll be like, okay, well, what do you think about this? And how can we do this? And can we do that? So that they never feel as though that we are a burden. When we come in, we're ready, camera ready, everything, and that's just been our method. And when I talk to other business owners, I try to tell them that. And some people, the ones who listen, they get it. Those who don't listen, they struggle with it, and you end up wasting so much money and so much time, because you're thinking about going to this next level, and you're thinking about, oh, when I get there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, start doing that now. Start preparing now, because when the opportunity presents itself, you don't have time to get ready.
You absolutely don't. You have no time to get ready. And that is why it is so important, imperative, even in youth ministry, as we're speaking, you're talking about the business side of honing the skill of young adults and things of that nature. Yeah. And that's why what you're saying right now is so expanded. And we definitely need to have this platform continue, especially with etiquette and with teaching, simply because It is how you present yourself. Like you said, you don't have to have all of the resources. You don't have to have all of the answers. But when you have made preparation, when the opportunity comes, you can walk into it. It's almost like as they went, they were healed. It didn't happen automatically. But the fact of the matter was they kept on walking. And as they walked, as they went, they start to see the manifestation of what they actually wanted. And so that's really what I want to encourage, because you all are a metamorphosis of what so many young adults want in life. And they see that and they say, hey, I want to be on Fox News. But what you fail to realize is that it was corporate America first. It was raising a family. It was saying yes to God, and it was being obedient. It was quitting a job. It was being laid off from a job. It was all of these. It was nights, sleepless nights of wondering, where is the money coming from? How do I continue to protect and shield my family? It was in the trenches that this trajectory started to shift. And you just kept moving. You kept asking for that printer paper and saying, hey, I don't care. Pack your box. I don't even have time for that. I love that. Listen, I'm being laid off my job. I don't even have time for that. Can you grab some printer paper?
Because I knew I was going to be taken care of. That was my faith.
See, that was her faith. And not that I doubted or I didn't wonder or waver. She tells a much more, she's the animated person. I'm more like, I'm very matter of fact. I know God got me. I know that. One of the things that I think, speaking of youth ministry, one of the things about us that many people who don't know us personally won't know is how dedicated we are to the things of God. Whether it be church or a community, we're very dedicated to our ministry. So much so that we have scheduled things around our business so that we can be very, hands-on in our ministry. To sometimes to almost our detriment in some instances, because I will say no to certain events because it happens on a Sunday. And, most people be like, you would never say no to that. Well, I got to be at church because that's the foundation for me. I've got to be in the presence. That is what keeps me anchored. And no matter how high I climb in my corporate, in my profession, or how much wealth we amass, I'm still that guy that's serving in my church. You're gonna find me on a Sunday. I'm the minister of music at our church, but you're allowed to see me on the floor running cables. You can see me all over the place. Same thing with her. We have been very consistent in that manner, and I think God has rewarded us for our consistency. So if I could speak to the young youth leaders that are like, going through the challenge of trying to produce something from nothing, it's going to pay off, because I take that same lesson that I learned when Bishop told me that he wanted an Easter production. And I'm like, okay, well, how much money we got? He's like, I don't have no money. Okay, well, you still have to make it work. You still got to figure it out. I take that same skill that I used in the church for that Easter production, and I use that in my corporation. I use that because you won't have every resource. You won't have every bell and whistle that everybody else has. But what you do have, you better use it. If you have the skill to talk to people and build connections and ask for what you want, go for it. Ask for what you want. If you're creative to build things on your own, build what you need. Because when you get there, they're going to appreciate you much better for it. When we walk into that event and on TV, they're looking at us and they're saying, okay, well, do you have props? Oh, do I have props? Oh, you haven't seen anything. We can transform.
Monica got a tent in the car, 5 wardrobe changes.
Always ready. We're at a pop-up event this weekend at a farmer's market. And I guarantee you, if you make it to this farmer's market in Tomball, Texas, you're going to know we're there. And everything is going to come from our garage. Everything. Every table, every chair, the banner, the tent, all of it. It's coming. We own. That's just how we have been. We've learned, and not that we spend all this money, and not that we have all this money. My wife is the best at finding a deal. Facebook Marketplace. We have shown up to people's houses, and they're like, "Wait, aren't you the people that we sell?" We're like, "No, put it in the back of the truck."
That means you're gonna give me a discount,
right? We will Facebook Marketplace something that we need in a minute. A printer, a tea kettle, a teapot. These cups that we see right
Yes.
here came from Facebook Marketplace, and they are fabulous. They've been
Versace.
on. They are Versace. They have been everywhere, and we are. Hey, Facebook Marketplace.
And so
I absolutely love that. I love it.
Yeah.
You know us. You know.
Yeah.
You know how we do. We come from the same cloth. Whatever it takes, by any means necessary.
And so I know you mentioned about the pageant. So all of the things that we have, came across and God has brought to us, we really never seeked out for it. Somebody always had our name in their mouth. They were speaking on our behalf. And some of the people, I didn't even know that we didn't know them. Right. And so how even, beginning to get in the pageant, I worked with this young lady and her daughter, but not knowing that this lady had a name for herself. And she went into this school, pageant school, and she seen the word etiquette and told the director, I know the perfect person that will teach etiquette, and she's good. And the girl ended up calling me that night and say, hey, they want to have a meeting with you tomorrow. I said, who is they? Not knowing it was Crystal Stewart, which is the former Miss USA from 2008, but then also played in movies, Acrimony and Tyler Perry, For Better For Worse, and all of that. Of course, still, I say church brain. I'm still thinking I met you in a choir, not even knowing, because I didn't do any research. So I'll go in, having a meeting and automatically instantly connecting, and literally we are like sisters today. But it came through someone I didn't even know personally. It was just teaching a class, and she's been following me for years. So you never know who's watching you. You never know who's going to open up doors that you didn't even think about opening doors. And then now with that leading in to now the working with the Miss USA pageant. Now we was able to with the tea business bring sponsors.
We sponsored the Miss Houston pageant this past Easter weekend.
Easter weekend.
We were one of the sponsors for the
Come on, sponsors.
Sponsors.
Y'all hear that? Sponsors.
Yes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And Monica, you said something so key, so very crucial. You have to be so aware of how you handle people and how you treat people along the way, because you never know who is going to be the person to give you that next connection. You treat everybody nice because you never know who's going to be in a situation, in a position to be able to pull you up or bring you with them or say, I know the perfect person. They could have absolutely known the perfect person to do it, but just imagine had your attitude been wrong and had you been confrontational and never, there's always a problem and your attitude is, and I know you're so genuine. Your spirit is so bright. It's like you walk in, you come in and it's like, I'm here, and you command the atmosphere. And you've taught us that in Young Women of Excellence. You have taught us that not just in the church arena, but I followed you. You are a mentor of mine, and you know that, a genuine sister, dear friend, and the light just exudes from you. And you command the attention. You've said to us, when you come into the atmosphere, you need to be able to change it. You need to be able to let people know that the light is here. I'm here now. Let's get this party started. So I'm excited that you all were able to be a sponsor. That's major. That is a major ordeal. And now let's drink some tea. Let's have some tea. I want to know how you properly drink tea. Now, Darian, you're in class now. You're in class because you're in class because again, we saw you on Instagram. And we saw you at a country club. You looked like you were supposed to be there. You had this tea.
I did.
And you were stirring your tea. I heard you stirring your tea. And from what I've been taught, hallelujah, we should have not heard, but we heard all that clanking in the background.
The sugar wrapper just hitting the pad.
You was just,
I'm here. I'm a vessel. I'm here to teach. Watch and learn.
Lewis Tea and Company. So, you've been able to morph again. This is yet another phase of the business. you now own Lewis Tea Company, Lewis Tea Co. And I want everybody out there who will come back, who shares, who I have this already streaming on three or four different platforms right now. And so, and I know people will come back. The internet is sometimes, Facebook has its own algorithm. It does what it wants to do, and we don't mind that. We're just here, and we're doing this for the glory of God anyway. So I want to help whomever is going to be helped with this. So listen. I know that Lewis Tea Company, I love this company. I absolutely love it. I have ordered, I have been gifted tea. I have been gifted items from this company, and I love the tea. I love the packaging. I love everything about it. And do you have a box to hold? Do you have your box? I want you to show. Yes. Lewis Tea. Look at this. This is how you come with it. Okay. Right. Lewis Tea & Co. This is another venture that the Lord has allowed them to just, oh my goodness, just be able to bless so many people. So let's drink some tea now. And Monica's going to maybe tell us exactly how this is supposed to go. Darian, get your cup.
Right. And so first things first, I know that most of us are used to bag tea, but I want to show you guys what loose leaf tea look like. It's not in the bag. It is whole loose leaf tea. Actually, we serve the top, you're going to hold it, the top 2% premium loose leaf tea around the world. So you're getting the world finest loose leaf tea. This is our antioxidant triple threat. So you have all the aca berries, you have the almonds in there, the rose petals, all of that great stuff. And so a lot of people get probably intimidated because they're like, what to do with loose leaf tea? Well, I'm going to show you. You can bring that down. Okay. I took that loose leaf tea, and this is called an infuser. It's an extra fine infuser, which you can find on our website. You actually put the loose leaf tea, as you can see there, inside the infuser. And then you pour hot water over, you actually place it in the cup.
Right, place it in the cup.
And then you'll pour hot water over your loose leaf tea so it can steep. One thing I can say about our tea, you're able to re-steep up to 2 to 3 times. So once you let that tea sit 3 to 5 minutes, it also varies what type of tea. You can have green tea, white tea. It all varies as for temperature. But when you order from us, we put all of that on the packaging so you don't have to figure out anything. Right. So once you steep the tea, oh my goodness. First you want to do, taste it first to see if you want to add anything. Most of us, we just add just to say, okay, we're going to add sugar. No, some of our tea, you don't even need sugar. Like our signature tea is a hometown spice, which I'm drinking tonight because I have a long night tonight. It has cinnamon, cloves, orange peels. So it's naturally sweet. So what you do is taste the tea first. And then if you want to add any sugar, you can. Honey, you can. So once you add your sugar in, you're going to take your teacup, and this is your spoon. Most of us we stir our tea circular motion. Right. You want to show them what not to do, Mr.
Okay,
Lewis?
so if you watch my notorious video, most of us we do this. You heard that? You heard that? That sounds like a dinner bell. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's not.
That was it. That was it.
That's not what you do.
So you never want to take your tea on a journey.
You don't want to
take your sugar on a journey because it would never get sweet because you're just going around and around. And then also with a teacup like this, most of the time you're going to use sugar cube. You need 1 sugar cube, 1 sugar packet. Okay, once you do that, you're going to take your spoon and you're going to actually, instead of going circular motion, you're going to go back 6 to 12, back and forth. 6 to 12, 12 to 6, however you want to do it. You go back and forth, and we should not hear you scraping the bottom, the side, because this is bone china, fine china. And so what can happen is you can chip the china.
Right.
And that is
hot tea.
Well, it's hot tea. It's fine. And so after you have stirred your tea, you want to place your spoon behind your teacup. The handle, your handle of your spoon should face the same direction of your handle. If you right-handed, the handle is going to be to your right. If you left-handed, you would turn the handle to your left. And then what you do after you have gotten your tea together, this is how you sip tea. Now, you have to take a class to actually how to hold it, but I'm going to show you how to sip the tea. Always look down in the cup. Never look over. When you look, that's like you're trying to be nosy. No, look down as you sip, not slurp.
So we shouldn't hear.
And you tilt the teacup to you. You don't go down in it. You actually, your posture is straight up and tall. And there you have it. Now, if you're attending a tea event, anytime you're sitting, your saucer and your teacup, your saucer remain on the table. Now, if you're walking around, that is the only reason why you will grab your saucer and your teacup. Right. Okay, so you can catch a class on there. So we are going to be doing a virtual tea party.
Yes.
And that's going to be, you're going to see it launched in the end of March. And we're going to do this big tea party, but you're going to also learn tea etiquette, which is going to be so amazing. And everything you're going to get in your tea kit is going to be a one-stop thing. Once you open the tea kit, you're going to have everything there. So we're really, really excited. This business was launched during the pandemic, September the 21st, the day after our wedding anniversary. You know, I always have to have something that's meaningful. September 21st, we launched it. And I'm telling you, we have now, I was telling Darren, I said, we have our customer in Japan, we have them in Germany, we have been shipping internationally, all over the world. And so our prayer that once you try Lewis Tea & Co., you don't try not another tea, because you will fall in love with our leaves.
I absolutely thank you so much. Yes, I have fallen in love with the leaves, and I'm telling you, everything they have said is absolutely correct. If you need more information, please visit lewistcompany.com. lewistcompany.com. Please reach out. I want them to be able to come into your youth ministries, even into some of your women's ministries and your men's ministries, and your corporate areas. If you are a business owner, or if you are a corporate executive, and you have the ability to say, hey, this will be something great for our team building, etiquette, business building, please reach out to the Monica Lewis School of Etiquette. They will be there to certainly service you. I am so happy because they are filled with so much. And listen, they can come to the C-suite with all of your gifts. They are a one-stop shop. So guess what? You can have your meeting. If you want to give out gifts, they can give out gifts. They make the most extraordinary gift packaging. You can call them, reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I want to be able to create a package for my company. Yep. And they are going to do everything that they can to make it affordable. You are going to have to pay, Saints, but make it affordable. Right. For you, and they're going to do what they can to corporately package and professionally package to make whatever you're trying to do come to life. You're going to fall in love not only with their leaves, but with them as individuals. I thank you so much for this time. And if you could just before we leave, just one last brief nugget, just to take young people, youth leaders, youth ministries, business owners, those that are trying to launch out, those that are afraid, those that have, said, I can't do it. If you could just give them just one word of encouragement, one word of wisdom. We've talked about a lot tonight: waiting, being patient, being obedient, moving out when you should, being professional, having a good attitude, and connecting with the right sources, and moving in the moment and being present right there. We've spoken a lot about that, but give us just a wrapping word that you would just say, hey, I want to encourage you so that you can move out into the next launch.
I would say this, and this is taken from a scripture in Genesis, and it says that when God created everything, he created it with a seed already in it. When he made you, when he created you, when he blew his breath into your soul, into your body, you came here fully equipped. Mm-hmm. He knew exactly what your journey would be. He knew exactly what your experiences would be. And because of that, he placed inside of you the seeds and the tools necessary for you to make it. Now, it's up to you to access those tools. Mm-hmm. So my advice to you is to know, number one, that God truly is calling you to do this. Number two, then to seek him so that he can cultivate those tools that he's already placed in you, so that when it's time to use them, it's time to utilize them, they'll come naturally. and you won't be frustrated because you think as though you're not prepared or equipped. They're there. It's just waiting on the perfect timing for them to come to light. So be patient with yourself, but also be very intentional in your prayer time and to allow God to mold and to perfect what he's already placed on the inside of you. That's not a cliche. That is what I've lived. That is what we live and what we know. That through prayer, through faith, and through hard work, there's nothing that's impossible, because even when you attempt to go in one direction, when you pray and when you take time to be still and listen, he'll give you the clarity that you need of whether or not you need to change course or you need to stay the course. And for us, that has always been the thing that we remained true to, is listening for that voice, that still small voice, that unction that you need, so that it can confirm what you already know. Sometimes we don't want to listen to what we already know. We know that that wasn't the right decision. We knew that that could have been handled differently, but you got to be confident to listen to the voice of God. And I stand on that one. As a young man myself, don't let this beard fool you guys. It's just a little premature. But as a young man married to a young woman, we still have to rely very heavily on the voice of God, and strong. And don't be afraid to get strong, wise counsel, and be honest with those who counsel you, so that you don't have to put on any airs. Don't get caught up in what you see on social media, please. It is not real. It is easy to put a filter on it, but when you get into a position where you know who God has called you to be and what he's called you to do, and you're confident that those seeds are already placed on the inside of you, it'll give you a peace and an assuredness that as you go through these moments of like, I'm not sure what my next step is, it'll give you the confidence to know that when you make that step, God is going to be there every step of the way, providing, protecting, and making ways for you, seen and unseen. And the exposure, opportunity, and money, all that is going to come. Right. But it's going to be through your obedience and through your willingness to take the time to put in the work.
Put in the work. And then also you protect your vision to make sure you're sharing with the right people.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Share with the right people. And sometimes it may not be your family members, no. You know, and also be okay stepping out and being uncomfortable. Sometimes we are more comfortable with staying with what's familiar, whether it's new clients. We think that our clients is right in front of us, but God could be launching you out to something totally different in the deep. Even when I started the business, I went all the way to Magnolia, Texas to join a networking group, and nobody looked like me. But I knew that's what God wanted me to go. I didn't understand. I'm like, why am I the only one looking like here? But he wanted me there so I can learn. And then also you want to be connected with people that's doing what you're doing or better than you, you know. So don't think about competition, because
biggest competition is yourself.
It is you. Stay in your lane, and God gonna bless you in your lane.
That's right.
Don't be nobody else but yourself.
I am so grateful for such sound wisdom. I'm so excited right now that you have been able to join us, and thank you so much. Thank you so kindly for
Before
being
we go, I want to celebrate.
So extra. Oh my God.
Celebrate. I went and got these balloons before this thing, okay? Celebrate my dear sister, Lady Taquita, and the assistant
chair lady. Yes, assistant chair lady, as I understand it. Exactly. And come on, tell us the title. Help us get the title absolutely correctly.
Oh my goodness, this is so not about this. But the Lord has favored. The Lord has been so gracious. He's favored me just with an opportunity, just a phenomenal opportunity to work and serve once again in our church, the Church of God in Christ, in the International Youth Department, as one of the assistant chair ladies. of the International Youth Department. I'm elated for that, but I just thank you so much. This was, you know what,
I didn't say anything today. I said I'm gonna surprise her because I had my phone, but the boys probably downstairs because I changed the location. So congratulations to you, honey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
so
that.
much, so deserving, and I can't wait to see what this next level of blessings.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And we had already scheduled this prior to that announcement being made, and I did not want to. I wanted to make sure we kept our commitment, and we did just that. So I appreciate you all. You have been such bright lights in my life. You are mentors extraordinaire. You are professionals par excellence, and I just appreciate the example that you have set for all of us. So please know that from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely appreciate you. And guess what? I want to honor you once again. I'm going to sponsor a tea boxer of some sort, some type of tea gift. I'm going to get an address from someone, and I'm going to gift them just as you gift me. And I'm going to gift them something, because I know that whatever they receive is going to be extraordinary. So I appreciate you so much for this time. Thank you for such sound wisdom, sound information. Thank you for taking this time out of your busy schedule to be a part of just, what I really just have a heart and a passion for. The passion will always override the position for me. So it is what it is when it comes to kingdom building. So whatever I can do to infuse young people, bring them before great men and women such as yourselves, I am all for that. And thank you for lending your time and your hearts to us tonight. Once again, you've been tuned in to Youth Ministry 365 Academy, chiming and chat with TK. And I have been so blessed to see people on and chiming in and trying to just grab a hold of this information. So thank you for joining us. God bless you. We will.